Hello Marvel Heroes fans, my name is Wilfred Wong and welcome to my channel whereby you should be able to see quite a lot of guides or in-game video on Marvel Hero the game. Alright, so now I have created a guide on Winter Soldier quite a while ago and I haven't really done any update on that video because I mean in reality this game doesn't really get updated that often and doesn't really get updated that often for the heroes, so so it has been well and good for quite some time. But after all the tuning and there's a new round of unique reviews, so I thought maybe it's a high time for me to take a look at the numbers again, and I did. And I did look at a number again this morning, and on paper the melee build actually looks very attractive, but but in reality, I found the range is still doing pretty alright. So I will do two guides for you guys, and because both are, wow, hang on a sec. There's a little bit of delay there. Okay, so now it's let me just do an ultimate. Alright, so this is Winter Soldier's ultimate for those who are new to Winter Soldier. It's pretty cool though. It's like he just come up from the I don't know, head whatnot to shoot from far. It's quite nice to do some targeting while doing that. So. Yeah, I mean, I've looked at a number for the melee and range. I thought I was about to write off the range build, but then after that, when I put on all the unique and when I look in the number again or kill time again, actually it's doing pretty well for the range build. So I'm not going to abandon the range build, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about the melee build as well because I think it's equally interesting. Alright, so now that was just Limbo because now it's a Limbo event, so I thought maybe I do something different rather than going through the same cosmic patrol and whatnot. But I'll just do a night terminal for you to have a feel of what Winter Soldier plays like. This is Cosmic Kurse, and for those of you who are familiar with the Winter Soldier video I have last time, the whole setup is very similar. I think the only difference is really about, I think they swapped the sabotage as well as the grenade, the weakening and vulnerability. I think they switched that a little bit around. But by and large, the whole thing is very similar, which is very much like a stealth build that, if you guys like the stealth build that I have got last time, it is the same thing, alright? So it's very interesting, the stealth build. You probably can, go through the whole terminal without really getting much hit by anybody, just like, you just stealth through it, alright? So, and it's very interesting, and I've changed my gear just a little bit. I haven't really done a lot of update on the gear itself. But I mean his range build is very much like before, so there's nothing really like, if you like the range build before and you will continue to like the range build, I believe so. And also now that the unit has gone some updates, so now you do have some legitimate let me do a ultimate signature. Alright, so that signature still as powerful as ever, and yeah, so if you have done all the gear for the stealth range, is more or less similar. The only thing that I mean right now, like I said, there's a legitimate unique for both the range and melee for slot 1 and slot 3, because last time for the range you have to swap something different for slot 3, and for melee you need to swap something for slot 1, I think. So now they have set of new gear for you, and that's wonderful. Alright, so that is our signature, by the way, still as powerful as ever. The only thing that I probably a bit caution about Winter Soldier is that you probably need some kind of, well, I wouldn't say skill, but you need some kind of awareness when you play him, because you have to know which one are your very best power for the single target, like your unseen death and so on. And when it comes to area damage, you have to make sure that you have to lay the grenade as well as the sabotage on. And once you get the hang of all those things, and you're pretty much fine. And don't forget, use a knife as your there's a lot of stuff here. Don't forget, use a knife as your buff to your firepower. So that's all you need to know. And the I mean, the whole thing is very nice. I mean, you can one-shot this guy probably, right? So you just have to have the awareness of how to, where or which target to neutralize, and it's a little bit different from other hero that you may play. So that's very nice, and you can sort of like, but you have to be very agile on thinking, you know, which one to neutralize if you want to play the kind of like range, stealth kind of build, because you know you have to be able to get in and out of danger quite fast. And the alright. So for instance, you want to, yeah, I mean now it's all gone. So now I'm going to going into Kurse. Okay, so maybe just talk a little bit about the rotation that you will see later. Is that I'll stealth in, and I'll go in with the night flow, which doesn't break the stealth, and after that go in with the sabotage, also doesn't break the stealth. Then the underslot, and after that unseen death, and after that signature unseen death again, and I may just conceal myself to finish off the job. So you know, there you go. Just go in stealth. All right, stealth. So stealth, alright, stealth, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, now it's not that ideal because, alright, so it's actually pretty decent, alright. It's actually pretty decent if I can target, right? See, so yeah, I mean that is the I thought German curse. That is basically what you need to do when you play the stealth range build, which is still very decent. You know, if you like it before, you still like it now. Even better, you don't need to farm too hard for the gear. All right. Winter Soldier has two passive. One is Enhanced Arsenal, another one is Enhanced Bionics. And for the ranged build, you have to pick this one because it back buff the firearms for quite a fair bit, which is like 15%. And yeah, so basically this is for range, the other one for melee. And for range, you get an endurance team buff. For melee, you get a power team buff, but it's not something you can choose anyway. So when it comes to playing range Winter Soldier, you always have to start with a power from the brutal combatant. Why? Because once you've done that, you actually buff your firearm powers for quite a fair bit, and you know that is before the gear. Of all the power that you could choose from this tree, the only one that is relevant is this one here, the Night Throw. It is ranged, and also because of the Enhanced Arsenal, it has a bleed effect, which is the damage over time for 8 seconds. Alright, so that is the opener that you will have if you play the ranged build, and also this is the very first layer. Now, the second layer is the Underslot Grenade, which is also fit for both melee and ranged. This one does like impact kind of like damage, as well as damage over time as well as vulnerability, and in fact it's one of the really very nice vulnerability debuff power you have. Looking at the number itself. And then that is the second layer. The third layer would be the Unseen Death. Now this has the cooldown power layer on top, and it has execute function, but it's, as I mentioned before, this is only a 50% execute on 50% and below health. So that is the three layers you have, the three main layers, and if you count this one, the Explosive Sabotage, as a fourth layer, you could, but the damage is very low for this one. It has a weakening, and it's just very low, but it's a very nice because for ranged build, it doesn't break stealth. So you know, imagine you always start with stealth in a ranged build. Your Night Throw is going to be like it does not break stealth, and then your Explosive Sabotage also does not break stealth. So you know, you could lay the two just ahead, you know, one step ahead of your enemies, and then you can start to look for other stuff that you know, other rotation power that you have. Alright, so now the main spender is going to be the 3-round burst. I presume the way how this one works is that you know, it shoots 3 rounds, and subsequent rounds would be of a higher damage as well as higher crit brutal. I do not think it will stack up to the next 3-round burst, because otherwise your crit will hit 100%. No, it doesn't go that way. So basically it's just that, you know, second hit is going to be powerful than the first one, and third one more powerful than the second one. Now, how does it going to affect your gameplay? It doesn't, because it's not as though you can, like, you know, anticipate when the second or third round is going to be. Alright, so that is all it is on this end. And then lastly, of course, signature have to be the maxed up, and also for Arsenal, your signature, instead of 25 seconds like the Bionics, the cooldown is shortened to 20 seconds, so that is very nice. And it also reset the Unseen Death cooldown, so you can do a back-to-back Unseen Death, and you really should consider doing that. Alright, so, and the last but not the least, I always, you know me, I always treasure a little bit of like defense stat or health and so on, so this sit in quite nicely. Conceal, come back, just use it whenever you can, and and also it will help you a lot in the cosmic gate as well. All right, so that is all that I would like to talk about the build. Onto the Omega system, this part of the video is going to be common to both the ranged and the melee build because I can only have one Omega system. And let's start with the spin tech, 10 on the spin techs versus boss, that's nice. And then a bit of health and health regen, also +5. Strength is very desirable, +5 that leading to it give you the physical as well. Winter Soldier does nothing but physical. More crit is always good, although Winter Soldier don't really need that much crit because I think his crit is pretty high by design. And after that, +5 strength here, and also more strength is good, also with health as well. Kill suppression for the brutal, and the tactical neural implant, more for the melee, but I think it benefits slightly on the range as well. Alright, so if you want to min-max everything, take away those has a melee kind of like attack to it, you can go for this type, like the range kind of like a notes to it. Alright, so and after that here +9 to fighting, and after that Sabertooth for the brutal damage rating, and after that this one is for melee, but then if you really want to go range and you forget about doing melee, you can take all these 6 points and invest somewhere else for your range build. Alright, so hero synergy very much like +1 strength or Ant-Man, more crit is good, and after that physical power crit is nice. Alright, moving on, +3 physical damage, you don't see it often in this whole roster, and then more damage versus spores, and then after +3 range and melee as well from Winter Soldier himself, the synergy. War Machine is a must for all heroes, +1 fighting and the brutal. Onto the rotation for the ranged build, always going to stealth, right? Because I think range is one of the very advantages that you could actually do a nitro as well as the sabotage without breaking stealth, so that use it to your advantage. So that would be the 2 layer you should start with. Then after that you can do the underslot kunai, which is what here it gives you the kind of like area damage. There's no burn to it. I don't know why. It looks like a burn to me. Why don't they attack it as burn? No idea. So anyway, and by the way, this is the power distribution once you get the gear right. And okay, basically I have to, yep, that's fine. So once you get the gear right, and I should use a rifle here instead of, okay, so I have to switch 2 gears when I do the range, and as you can see the power actually very encouraging. All these are like close to 50. All right, so all these are 50, this is 50, so that is already very decent, as well as knife as well. All right, and after that unseen death is one that has 8-second cooldown, and then after that if you do a signature and you reset this guy. So now all these 4 powers are 8-second cooldown, so use that as a counter. But also bear in mind that with all this reset or power kind of thing, it messed up your rotation a little bit, but that's just a little bit to sort of like take care of. So yeah, I'm going to fast forward the whole thing. So you just stealth, and after that 1, 2, 3, 4, signature 4. Then after that just click. You can want to conceal. All right. So after that, when 3, 2, 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. All right. So that's nice. Alright, just keep doing. After that is that's why I say, I mean, the Winter Soldier is actually quite easy to play. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after that, what do? You do a signature back to back. But then after that, you see all your rotation get a little bit off, because now do you really go down to like, maybe go 3 seconds, you already start to have it. So, so that's the thing that about signature is nice, but then sort of like sometimes mess up my rotation, cooldown, stuff like that. So, but that is really up to you how you manage your cooldown. Alright, so I hope that gives you a idea about how he plays like, and I don't really think that he has a spirit issue, but in any case do have 25% core to him. Alright, that's the rotation for range build. When it comes to gearing for Winter Soldier, you have an option of gearing for ranged and or melee. So for me, I'm trying to gear for both so that I can just use any kind of like build whichever day I wish to. So of course the first thing you need to be aware is that are you hitting the 50, because this is the kind of target you need to go do. All the major power that you have should be roughly at the 50 rank. So right now Winter Soldier is at a very nice place from a gearing perspective. But as you can see, some of my power is still not at 50 yet. So meta sensory is probably something that I need to continue using. But if you are able to get some really nice roll for your unique or so on, you probably do not need to. As far as the physical power is concerned, there are many other artifacts. You can use Hand of Doom, Gem of the Curse, the Gorilla Necklace, and so on and so forth. I value a little bit of health as well because, as I mentioned before, I want this set of gear for both range and melee. But you know, you probably would not need the health. If you're playing the range, you can pick something even more exotic. All right. So reasons why, again, I'm choosing something very neutral here because, like I mentioned to you, I can't quite decide which one to go. And now in this kind of situation, you could, however, go for things like the crit damage rating, of course. I mean, you know, go for it. If you want your Winter Soldier to be really high damage. For me, I find them a little bit, you know, fragile on the melee build. So in the end, I picked something more defensive. As for Runework is concerned, Lady of the Sword is more for melee, but you know, for range, it has the plus 200 physical damage buff as well. So it's all right for range. It's not fantastic. There are other options, of course, like this one here. I was just looking at it before that, before this video, like Boazon as well. It's very nice for ranged if you can afford the kind of runes requirement, because it requires something called the tier rune, which could be quite hard to get. But you know, that is one that you could consider getting. But if you like to have flexibility on either one, I think this is fine too. For the legendary is Gunil for grade 70. For grade 80 is the axe. And as for the unique wise, I have no complaint on this unique these days. I can use like a 2 set. So I would suggest a sniper rifle for the slot 1, as well as the new Soviet issue Bandola for the slot 3. So you know, so these are the one, and melee will have to switch the 2 of them. All right. So in terms of gear, I only have 1 costume fixes because I find I have 2 costumes, by the way. But in the end, I just leave with the crit damage rating. If you find him a little bit fragile, you could go for health as well. It always you know, take you a long is much better in a long run to have both costume. One is health, one is crit damage rating, because as and when you need some kind of like reassurance on health, you can. But I think that's fine. But I think the invulnerable core is a must. In terms of the I mean, pick something that is crit damage rating, something brutal, and after that, this is for the pet. All right.
To come up with a strategy.
So onto the number itself, I guess what I'm going to do is to show you kind of like a 2 combination to it, because I'm not going to split this into 2 videos. And at first, I'm going to talk about all the raw power. So you know, no gear, no Omega point, whatnot. Just either 1 point in enhanced bionic, and the other 1 point into enhanced arsenal. All right. So bionic. All right. So yep. Apologies on that. And so I'm not going to look into the basic as well, because I think basic is a little bit too low power. So I'm looking at endgame here. So, and the EA is enhanced arsenal, which is the range. EB is the enhanced bionics, which is the melee. All right. So I mean, you can see it, all these numbers here, like unseen death itself is kind of a nice kind of like you know, DPS layer. And then like I mentioned to you, Underslut Grunite is actually very strong for 8,000 plus DPS for damage over time, with the vulnerability debuff as well. So you know, that is something that usually don't get that high for vulnerability debuff. So I don't know why. Anyway, game design. Withering Fire for the enhanced arsenal. You could use it as a main spender. It can pierce through the stuff, but in the end, I sort of picked something called 3-round burst itself, because that will probably give me the highest damage for the. I mean, this number is just roughly like you know, like any other hero these days. It's a normal kind of like range, I would say. You could add the enhanced bionic, the melee build, to have the Withering Fire, the layer between. I mean, on paper it's actually pretty good. But then in the end, I feel that the animation sort of like you know, penalize this a little bit, and it's hard to mix this with the 8-second cooldown, so on and so forth. So in the end, I can't really maximize using this one. Okay, then of course, you know, BS, the one is the arsenal, the other is a bionic. Then the difference is because of the cooldown. One is 20 seconds, one is 25 seconds. All right, but of course, you know, this one, although it's a longer cooldown, it buffed the arsenal power, bionic power, brutal combatant power for 6 seconds. So you know, that is compensated for it. And then after that, you got the explosive sabotage. Like I mentioned to you, it's actually a very weak layer. It's a very, very weak layer. 1000, not even 2000 DPS for damage of that cooldown power or damage over time. Sorry, cooldown power just doesn't quite cut it, but it is what it is. Then the Nitro as their arsenal is actually quite strong as well, 8000, and it kind of like it does not break stealth. But if you want to use that as the main spender for kind of like bionic, I don't think you should anyway. Then the Haymaker actually hit very strong, hit tremendously strong. It's crazily strong anyway. And after that, you got Dispatch, also a very high number. So you look at all these numbers are very, very high. I mean, cooldown power at this number, nah, you never see. I mean, this kind of double up with is even double of what others are getting. I don't know why. But of course, I count execute in it as well, because I buffed this power by 25%. Because 50% you can get 50% higher value. And then the shockwave also quite decent as a power. Now of course the EMP surge, like I mentioned to you, is not really that high of power, but then really no complaint compared to the explosive sabotage. Alright, so I mean that's one way to look into the whole build and so on, just look at a number and so on. But then after that you can then separate what is the bionic, which is a melee build, so you can pick all these things up here, and after that estimated the rotational DPS with the discount, animation discount upon the main spender, which is going to be the Haymaker. So you take a discount of this guy here. Then it gives you a kind of number here indicatively, and after that you do a range as well, same thing that you've done, you come out with the number, which is about 17% down. So this is what is on paper now. Of course, when it comes to the hero itself, when all the unique come to the picture, when it comes to the cooldown come to the picture, when it comes to execution and so on and so forth, I personally found both build quite similar. Actually, in fact, both build are very similar in terms of kill time for me. I probably would say that range one, I probably can extract more DPS from the range one. Surprisingly, looking at the number of the melee, I would have thought that melee build would be the one. So I'm very happy because Winter Soldier, you can play either one of them, melee or range. I hope kind of convince you that you can watch both video and see that it's just as effective in dispatching the enemies. So it's a very simple to play hero with no spirit issue, or very little spirit issue. He's not that strong, but I would say that he's balanced. So let me know whether you enjoyed this video or not. And as always, if you like this one, you can check out the other build as well, just to give you some idea of what the melee one plays like. And in the description of this video, there's a link back to my website, has a lot of guides there. So feel free to browse and let me know what other questions you have. So till the next time we see each other, goodbye.